Alright guys, I'm losing the light here, so I'm gonna try and do this really quickly. Bad news is, no fishing in this video. For reasons unknown, I couldn't go fishing today. But I'm gonna try and do a little quick how-to for total beginners who have never used a baitcaster rod. So, here we go. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna go over is the settings for your baitcaster rod that you have just purchased and you want to try it out. So this right here, probably going to be one of the more important settings you use. On this particular reel, this adjusts the strength of the magnetism inside this reel. There's actually a magnet that works the brake system, and that's going to determine how much pressure the brake applies on the line as it's leaving the reel. Now, if you're just starting, you've never thrown one of these before, crank this thing all the way up. Now, there are different types of reels. Shimano, I know, uses, I've got a couple, they uses an internal one where you adjust the actual brake pads. You know, there'll usually be 4 of them. Adjust them inside. I would not suggest that for the beginner. If you do buy one, however, I would suggest getting in there and turning them all on. That's the strongest setting. That's going to give you the least amount of backlash. It's got a bunch of cars in the background. That's great for the noise, by the way. But crank this thing all the way to the max. That way it'll minimize your bird nests. This is going to be the second thing. This right here determines how easily the line, you know, kind of falls. They kind of work in tandem. They work together, determining how that line comes out. Now, this setting is going to be pretty easy to figure out. You want it, I've actually got it set pretty good here, so we'll mess it up real good there. Now this, once you hit the button and releases it, now this is, consider it like, this is the brake. This will be the brake here. Consider this the brake. Now when you click that button, it's going to release the brake, and this is going to spin very quickly. You know, it's going to free spin. That means once it spins, if you let it, that line will go into the spool, wrap around itself, and that's what actually causes the bird nest, and it's not fun getting them out. But the setting actually needs to be, I don't know how well you can see that with the light, but when you click that, you want that lure to fall down at a steady, not quick, but kind of a steady fall. So that's a little loose, so I'm going to tighten it up. And it's actually easier to go from tight to loose other than loose to tight, just, you know, because it'll go slower. So right there, that bait is barely moving down, so I'm going to loosen it up. Actually, I was pretty close. So right about there. You don't want it to, like, you know, fly down to the ground. You just want a nice, steady fall. And that's going to tell you when your setting is, you know, just about perfect. Now, once you've got all of your settings put the way you need them to be, time to learn how to actually cast this thing. Now, when you hit this button, like that, that's, you know, like I told you before, that's going to release the spool. And you do not want your thumb to leave this spool. Later on, when you get kind of better at it, you'll be able to tell, you know, especially during the initial release, if you can let go of the spool and just kind of let it free spool. You know, your very first few casts, I wouldn't let it. I don't care if it goes 5 feet or not. You're gonna feel. You're gonna feel it right away. You're gonna be able to tell what you're doing fairly quickly, unless you just have no sense for this at all, in which case don't feel bad, just keep trying. But not a whole lot else to go over. I mean, it's fairly simple procedure once you know what you're doing, and you're gonna mess up. You're gonna get bird nests, but just, you know, in your yard, just do this many times as you want. I mean, this is actually something I'll do when I'm bored, especially if I get a new rod or something. I'll get bored, I can't go fishing, come outside and throw, because, you know, you're never too good to practice. One actual fun thing to do, especially if you're doing this with, you know, your kids or something, your kids are learning, or if you just want to go out with your baitcaster and, you know, let them have their little button Zebco or whatever they want to use, and have some fun with it. Throw some hula hoops, you know, out in the yard or whatever, some toys, anything, and, you know, put some points on them. This is actually pretty fun. I did this with my son, and you know, see who racks up the most points. It's actually a way to, you know, get the kids outside, whatever, get them away from video games, because they're just so bad, and have some fun in the yard. Okay, now that you've practiced a little bit, you know, you're getting, you know, confident in that setting, you know, whatever. you know, challenge yourself. Crank that thing down a little bit, you know, definitely be an adjustment. And definitely give yourself some room to cast. You don't want to tick off your neighbor because you hit his dog with one of your lures, or that dog bit the lure. That's never a good thing to go through. Not that I would know. But, once you get more confident, take that thing, throwing a frog, you really don't, need these kind of settings, but, just play with it, If you feel confident, let it go, and they'll look pretty like mine, sure, like that. Yeah, wrap it around the end of the rod when you're trying to show people how good you are at casting this. That's really good there, yeah. But that's about all I got to show you today. Sorry for the short video. Sorry, no fishing. Fishing is coming, promise. But you're going to have to wait. Alright guys, so hopefully that video helped somebody. I know it kind of sucked. There was no fishing, nothing like that. But check out a couple of my other videos. I've only got a couple right now, but there's going to be more. But like I said, hopefully this helped somebody. If it did, give me a like, something. That rabbit just scared the crap out of me. It's a good thing I live near the woods. Awesome. Anyway, so I guess that's it for this video. There'll be more here coming pretty quick, so stay tuned. Until next time.